Assessment of NASA's SLS program viability by 2024, key milestones, $3 billion budget breakdown and risks of contractual termination with Boeing. Introduction. NASA's Space Launch System SLS program, designed to facilitate deep space exploration and support the Artemis missions, is facing a critical evaluation regarding its future viability. With an annual budget of $3 billion and launch costs exceeding $2 billion, the program's financial sustainability is under scrutiny, particularly in light of burgeoning commercial space alternatives like SpaceX and Blue Origin. The potential cancellation of contracts with Boeing, the primary contractor for the SLS, poses significant ramifications for the workforce and the broader landscape of U.S. space exploration. Key developments and timeline. 1. Initial launch delays. Originally scheduled for a 2016 launch, the SLS program experienced extensive delays, culminating in its first launch in late 2022. This timeline not only reflects project inefficiencies but also raises concerns about the program's management. 2. Boeing's warning. On February 7, 2025, Boeing communicated to its SLS workforce that potential contract cancellations could lead to layoffs. Approximately 400 jobs are at risk, with notifications required under the Worker Adjustment and Retraining Notification Warn Act. 3. Political discussions. Intense debates within the White House and NASA's leadership have emerged concerning the SLS's future direction. Acting NASA Administrator Janet Petro has advocated for the completion of Artemis 2 and 3 missions while exploring commercial alternatives. For budget evaluations, the timing of these discussions coincides with President Trump's budget proposal for fiscal year 2026, which could significantly influence congressional decisions regarding NASA funding. 5. Public and industry reactions. Public sentiment reflects a divide, with some advocating for SLS's cancellation due to its costs, while others express concern over the job losses at Boeing and the economic implications for local communities. Financial implications. The SLS program has cost NASA approximately $3 billion annually, primarily allocated to Boeing and other contractors. This financial model has been criticized for its lack of sustainability, especially when compared to the cost-effective solutions provided by commercial competitors. Notably, SpaceX's Falcon Heavy and Blue Origin's New Glenn have demonstrated operational success with significantly lower costs per launch, potentially saving taxpayer dollars. Budget breakdown. Annual budget, $3 billion. Cost per launch exceeds $2 billion. Projected layoffs, approximately 400 Boeing employees. Workforce and economic impact. The looming layoffs at Boeing not only affect the employees directly involved in the SLS program but also have broader socioeconomic implications. Regions such as Huntsville, Alabama, which rely heavily on aerospace jobs, face potential economic downturns. This creates a complex dynamic where the decision to cancel or continue the SLS program intertwines with job security and local economies. Political landscape. The future of the SLS program is enmeshed in the political discourse surrounding NASA's funding and strategic direction, with congressional leaders representing constituencies tied to SLS jobs likely to oppose program termination. The situation highlights the intricate balance between fiscal responsibility and maintaining America's leadership in space exploration. Key political figures. Acting NASA Administrator Janet Petro advocates for completing Artemis missions with SLS while considering commercial alternatives. Congressional leaders advocating for continued funding to protect jobs tied to the SLS program. Alternatives to SLS. Emerging commercial alternatives are reshaping the landscape of space exploration. SpaceX and Blue Origin offer reusable rocket technologies that promise significant cost savings and operational efficiencies. Notable alternatives. 1. SpaceX Falcon Heavy. Known for its lower cost and high payload capacity, Falcon Heavy has become a viable contender for NASA's future missions. 2. Blue Origin New Glenn. recently launched New Glenn aims to provide a competitive option for heavy-lift missions with a focus on reusability. Future of the Artemis program. The Artemis program aimed at returning humans to the moon and establishing a sustainable presence is critically dependent on the SLS. However, NASA is exploring the integration of commercial launch vehicles for future missions, which could redefine its operational strategy. Revised mission timeline. Artemis II launch, targeted for September 2025. Artemis III launch, expected in 2026. Artemis IV, scheduled for 2028, introducing the Gateway Lunar Space Station. Public reaction. The public's response to the potential cancellation of SLS contracts reflects a spectrum of opinions, from calls for more cost-effective alternatives to concerns about job losses and economic stability. Social media platforms have become a battleground for these discussions, emphasizing the socio-economic stakes involved. Expert opinions. Industry experts are divided on the future of the SLS. Many argue that the high costs associated with the program make it unsustainable, while others believe that completing the current Artemis missions with SLS is crucial for fulfilling national commitments in space exploration. Key expert views. NASA Inspector General, skeptical about the current cost reduction strategies and advocates for partnerships with commercial providers. Industry analysts urge a transition toward competitive models that could drive down costs and enhance innovation. Conclusion. As NASA contemplates the future of the SLS program, the potential decision to cancel contracts with Boeing represents a pivotal moment for U.S. space exploration. While the shift toward commercial alternatives may promise increased efficiency and innovation, it also raises significant concerns about job security and the socio-economic impact on affected communities. The ongoing debate encapsulates the complexities of balancing immediate fiscal responsibilities with the long-term vision for space exploration. Ultimately, the outcome will not only shape NASA's operational strategy but also influence the future trajectory of American leadership in space. Counterintuitive information in the assessment of NASA's SLS program viability. 1. High costs versus political support. While many stakeholders criticize the SLS program for its exorbitant costs, over $2 billion per launch and an annual budget of $3 billion, political support remains strong among certain congressional leaders. This contrasts with the typical expectation that high costs would lead to diminished political backing, revealing a complex interplay between job security in aerospace sectors and financial accountability in federal spending. 2. Job losses versus economic stability. The potential layoffs of approximately 400 Boeing employees due to the cancellation of SLS contracts highlight a paradox. While cutting SLS funding might seem like a logical response to unsustainable costs, it also threatens economic stability in communities reliant on aerospace jobs. This raises the question of whether financial prudence or job security should take precedence in government spending decisions, an unusual scenario where cost-cutting measures could have significant socioeconomic repercussions. 3. Commercial alternatives and NASA's role. The emergence of commercial alternatives like SpaceX and Blue Origin, which offer significantly lower launch costs, suggests a shift towards privatization in space exploration. However, this transition may also indicate a potential reduction in NASA's direct role in space missions, contradicting the agency's historical position as a primary driver of space exploration. This could redefine NASA's functions from direct execution to regulatory and evaluative roles, which is a significant shift from traditional government-led space programs. For public sentiment divided, public opinion surrounding the potential cancellation of SLS contracts is notably mixed. While some advocate for the cancellation due to financial inefficiencies, others express concern over job losses and national pride in space exploration. This duality underscores a societal tension between fiscal responsibility and the desire for national prestige, which is typically seen as a clear-cut issue. 5. Delayed launch versus continued investment. The SLS program experienced significant delays, with its first launch occurring in late 2022 instead of the originally planned 2016. Despite the delays, NASA continues to invest heavily in the program. This scenario challenges the assumption that prolonged delays would naturally lead to reduced funding or interest, revealing a commitment to legacy projects that may not yield immediate returns. 6. Political dynamics and budgeting. The dynamics within the White House and NASA regarding the SLS program reveal an unexpected complexity. Even as budget constraints tighten, there is still a push to complete existing missions Artemis 2 and 3 using the SLS. This suggests that political motivations can sometimes override fiscal logic, complicating the decision-making landscape in federal budgeting. 7. Historical precedents. The transition from the Space Shuttle program to commercial services did not yield the anticipated cost savings, and critics warned that a similar shift with SLS might not lead to better outcomes. This historical context challenges the notion that privatization will always lead to efficiency gains, suggesting that government contracts may still play a pivotal role in ensuring project accountability and performance. 8. Cost-plus contracts versus competitive pressure. Critics argue that the cost-plus contracts associated with SLS may incentivize contractors like Boeing to prolong the project. This is counterintuitive to the typical expectation that such contracts would motivate efficiency through guaranteed funding. The reality presents a scenario where the structure of contracts can lead to inefficiencies, challenging conventional views on contract management within government projects. 9. Boeing's response to layoffs. Boeing's proactive measures in handling potential layoffs may seem counterintuitive. By issuing WARN Act notices, the company demonstrates a commitment to transparency and compliance, which contrasts with the expectation that companies may downplay such risks to avoid panic. This approach reflects a strategy to manage workforce morale while preparing for possible transitions, emphasizing a nuanced corporate strategy in the face of uncertainty. 10. Long-term versus short-term goals. The ongoing debate about the SLS program pits immediate fiscal responsibility against long-term strategic goals in space exploration. While cutting SLS contracts could lead to short-term savings, it may undermine broader ambitions for sustained lunar exploration and eventual Mars missions. This presents a counterintuitive situation where short-term decisions could jeopardize long-term goals, challenging the conventional wisdom of prioritizing immediate fiscal health over strategic vision. In summary, the assessment of NASA's SLS program viability reveals several counterintuitive dynamics, particularly regarding the interplay of costs, political support, job security, and the role of commercial alternatives in shaping the future of U.S. space exploration. These complexities challenge traditional narratives and highlight the multifaceted nature of decision-making in government-funded space initiatives. The report on NASA's Space Launch System (SLS) program highlights several critical elements that are often overlooked in discussions surrounding space exploration budget allocations and workforce impacts. Here are some of the significant points that deserve further scrutiny. 1. The impact of contractual cancellations on workforce and economy. While the potential layoffs of approximately 400 Boeing employees due to the cancellation of SLS contracts have been briefly mentioned, the broader economic implications are often underappreciated. The community surrounding Huntsville, Alabama, a hub for aerospace jobs, could face significant socioeconomic disruptions. The aerospace industry not only provides high-paying jobs but also supports ancillary businesses and services. The loss of these positions could lead to a ripple effect in local economies, reducing consumer spending and threatening the stability of local businesses. This aspect highlights the need for a comprehensive transition plan that considers workforce retraining and economic diversification to mitigate these impacts. 2. Political implications of budget decisions. The political landscape surrounding NASA's budget and the SLS program is complex and often underestimated. The report notes that the upcoming budget proposal from President Trump could heavily influence congressional decisions regarding NASA funding. However, the nuances of political maneuvering, such as the influence of lobbyists, regional representatives advocating for aerospace jobs, and the interplay between federal and state priorities, could significantly shape the future of the SLS program. Understanding these dynamics is crucial for grasping how funding decisions are made and how they may affect NASA's ability to pursue ambitious space exploration goals. 3. Long-term strategic considerations. The operational strategy of NASA, especially concerning its Artemis program, is undergoing a pivotal transformation. The focus on transitioning to commercial alternatives like SpaceX and Blue Origin, which offer more cost-effective and innovative solutions, represents a strategic shift in how the U.S. approaches space exploration. Many discussions tend to focus on immediate budget concerns, but the long-term implications for U.S. leadership in space and technological innovation are significant. As private companies continue to advance in capabilities, the U.S. risks losing its competitive edge in space exploration if it does not adapt its strategy accordingly. 4. The critique of cost-plus contracts. The report mentions that critics argue that maintaining the SLS program could incentivize large contractors like Boeing to prolong work and drag out funding due to cost-plus contracts. This critique emphasizes a systemic issue within government contracting where the structure of incentives may not align with efficient project delivery. The reliance on such contracts has led to chronic delays and budget overruns, and the debate surrounding this issue points to a need for reform in how government contracts are awarded and managed. Transitioning to performance-based contracts could foster greater accountability and efficiency, a point that warrants deeper exploration. 5. The role of emerging technologies. While the focus has largely been on the immediate financial implications of transitioning to commercial space vehicles, there is also an opportunity for NASA to leverage emerging technologies and partnerships in the commercial sector. The development of reusable rockets and other innovations by companies like SpaceX and Blue Origin represents a shift towards a more sustainable model of space exploration. This transition could not only reduce costs but also accelerate the pace of innovation in the aerospace sector. The potential for collaboration with these companies could enhance NASA's capabilities and open new avenues for exploration beyond the moon, such as Mars missions. 6. The cultural shift in space exploration. The discussion surrounding the SLS and its potential cancellation reflects a broader cultural shift in how society views space exploration. There is a growing recognition of the role of commercial entities in advancing space technology, which challenges the traditional view of government-led initiatives as the sole path to progress. This cultural shift may impact public perception and support for future space missions as citizens increasingly embrace the idea that commercial partnerships can drive exploration in a more efficient and innovative manner. 7. The implications for international partnerships. The potential cancellation of the SLS program could also have ramifications for international partnerships in space exploration. NASA's Artemis program is designed to establish a long-term presence on the Moon and serve as a stepping stone for Mars missions involving collaborations with other countries and space agencies. A shift away from the SLS may necessitate a re-evaluation of these partnerships and could affect the U.S. standing in global space exploration efforts. Maintaining strong international collaborations is vital for the success of future missions, and the implications of these decisions should be carefully considered. Conclusion. The discussions surrounding NASA's SLS program and its potential cancellation with Boeing are layered and complex. Key aspects such as workforce impacts, political dynamics, long-term strategic considerations, contract structures, emerging technologies, cultural shifts, and international partnerships are often overlooked but are crucial for understanding the broader implications of these decisions. As NASA grapples with its future direction and the financial constraints of its ambitious goals, these factors will play a significant role in determining the agency's success in maintaining its leadership in space exploration. 1. Financial viability and cost concerns of the SLS program. the Space Launch System (SLS) has come under scrutiny due to its unsustainable financial model requiring approximately $3 billion annually and costing over $2 billion per launch. This financial burden is increasingly difficult to justify, especially with the emergence of more economical commercial alternatives such as SpaceX's Falcon Heavy and Blue Origin's New Glenn, which offer reusable rockets and significantly lower costs. The ongoing debate around the SLS program emphasizes the need for NASA to reassess its funding priorities and consider transitioning to more cost-effective options that could provide substantial savings for taxpayers while still achieving the agency's mission objectives. 2. Impact on workforce and economic implications. The potential cancellation of SLS contracts with Boeing could lead to significant layoffs, with estimates of around 400 employees facing job loss. This situation raises concerns not only about the immediate job security of those working on the SLS project but also about the broader socioeconomic consequences for communities reliant on aerospace jobs, particularly in regions like Huntsville, Alabama. The economic ripple effects could influence local economies and diminish interest in STEM careers. As such, the debate around the SLS program is not just a technical or financial matter but also a critical social issue that impacts livelihoods and community stability. 3. Political landscape and strategic implications. The decision-making process regarding the future of the SLS program is intertwined with political considerations, particularly in light of the upcoming budget proposal from the White House. NASA's acting administrator Janet Petro has advocated for the completion of the Artemis 2 and 3 missions while simultaneously exploring commercial alternatives for future launches. This situation highlights the balancing act between fulfilling existing commitments and adapting to new fiscal realities. The political ramifications of potentially terminating SLS contracts could spark significant opposition from congressional representatives whose constituencies are directly affected, complicating NASA's strategic objectives and its role in maintaining U.S. leadership in space exploration. 4. Transitioning to commercial alternatives. The shift towards commercial alternatives in space exploration is a pivotal point in the ongoing discussions surrounding the SLS program. Companies like SpaceX and Blue Origin are demonstrating the capability to deliver heavy-lift launches at a fraction of the cost of SLS, which raises questions about the future role of NASA in space missions. The move towards privatization reflects broader industry trends favoring competitive markets that can drive innovation and cost efficiencies. As NASA considers its path forward, the integration of commercial solutions could redefine its operational framework, positioning the agency as a facilitator of space exploration rather than the primary executor, thus potentially transforming the dynamics of future missions and partnerships in the aerospace sector. 1. The Space Shuttle Program. The NASA Space Shuttle program was initiated in the 1970s and saw its first flight in 1981. This program faced significant criticism for its high costs and safety issues, culminating in the Challenger and Columbia disasters. The shuttle was intended to be a reusable spacecraft that would lower the costs of access to space, yet it often exceeded budget expectations and suffered from delays. Ultimately, the program was retired in 2011 after 135 missions, leading to a shift toward commercial partnerships for future space launches. 2. The Constellation Program. Launched in 2005, NASA's Constellation Program aimed to develop a new crew vehicle and a rocket to replace the Space Shuttle. However, it encountered severe cost overruns, technical challenges, and missed deadlines, which led to its cancellation in 2010. The program's struggles highlighted the difficulties of large-scale government projects and the need for a more sustainable approach to space exploration. The lessons learned contributed to the development of the SLS program, which has since faced similar scrutiny. 3. Lockheed Martin's F-35 program. The F-35 Joint Strike Fighter program run by Lockheed Martin has faced extensive criticism for its escalating costs, delays, and technical problems. Originally projected to cost around $233 billion, estimates have ballooned to over $1.5 trillion over the lifetime of the program. The F-35 has been described as a cost-plus contract nightmare similar to criticisms aimed at NASA's SLS program regarding Boeing's contracts. The struggles of the F-35 program serve as a cautionary tale about managing large defense contracts and maintaining budget discipline. Future outlook: predictions for NASA's SLS program viability by 2024. As we look ahead to 2024, the viability of NASA's Space Launch System SLS program faces pivotal challenges and potential transformations. The ongoing scrutiny of SLS coupled with the influence of commercial spaceflight advancements will likely shape the trajectory of U.S. space exploration. 1. Potential cancellation of contracts with Boeing. By mid-2024, a decisive moment may occur regarding NASA's contracts with Boeing. If the Biden administration opts to cancel these contracts in light of the program's inefficiencies, highlighted by over $3 billion annual costs and $2 billion per launch, it could signal a significant shift in NASA's operational strategy. This cancellation could lead to layoffs impacting approximately 400 Boeing employees, particularly in Huntsville, Alabama, which is crucial for the aerospace industry. This region's economic fabric could experience strains, raising concerns among local economies dependent on aerospace jobs. 2. Increased adoption of commercial launch vehicles. Should NASA proceed with canceling the SLS contracts? Commercial alternatives like SpaceX's Falcon Heavy and Blue Origin's New Glenn are poised to fill the void. By 2024, these companies are expected to solidify their positions as primary providers for heavy-lift missions, offering lower-cost and more efficient launch solutions. The shift towards commercial partners not only promises to alleviate budgetary pressures but also encourages innovation within the space industry, potentially leading to advancements in reusable rocket technologies. 3. Continued support for Artemis missions. Despite potential contract cancellations, NASA's commitment to the Artemis program, particularly the Artemis 2 and 3 missions, will likely endure. Acting NASA Administrator Janet Petro's advocacy for completing these missions using SLS underscores the agency's intent to maintain momentum in lunar exploration. However, if commercial alternatives prove viable, NASA may pivot towards integrating these solutions for future missions, thereby redefining its role from a direct operator to a facilitator of commercial space endeavors. 4. Budgetary constraints and congressional dynamics. With President Trump's budget proposal for fiscal year 2026 looming, Congress will play a crucial role in determining the future of NASA's funding. If budget constraints persist, legislators may be inclined to support the transition to more cost-effective alternatives, which could further undermine the SLS program. The political landscape will likely witness intense debates as stakeholders weigh the necessity of sustaining traditional contracts against the allure of budgetary savings and innovation offered by private companies. 5. Impact on workforce and economic considerations. The socio-economic implications of potential layoffs at Boeing cannot be overstated. By 2024, the aerospace workforce in Huntsville could face significant challenges, leading to a ripple effect that impacts local businesses and STEM career interest. As NASA evaluates its future direction, the balance between cost savings and workforce stability will be a critical consideration. The agency may need to explore strategies to reallocate or retrain impacted employees to mitigate the potential negative consequences on communities tied to the aerospace industry. 6. Technological advancements and industry evolution. The ongoing evolution of the commercial space sector suggests that by 2024, significant technological advancements will emerge from competitors like SpaceX and Blue Origin. Their focus on reusability and cost efficiency is likely to challenge traditional models, prompting NASA to reassess its operational frameworks. As partnerships with commercial entities grow, the industry could witness an influx of innovative solutions that enhance the overall effectiveness of space missions. 7. Long-term strategic shifts in U.S. space policy. Ultimately, the decisions made by NASA and the White House regarding the SLS program could catalyze a broader shift in U.S. space policy. By 2024, if commercial alternatives are embraced,
It may signal a commitment to a more privatized approach to space exploration.
This transition could redefine NASA's role, potentially positioning the agency as a regulatory body that fosters innovation while allowing private companies to lead in operational execution. Conclusion: the future of NASA's SLS program by 2024 rests on a complex interplay of financial viability, political dynamics, and technological innovation. While the path forward may present challenges, it also offers opportunities for redefining the landscape of U.S. space exploration. The decision to pivot towards commercial alternatives could not only enhance cost efficiency but also stimulate growth within the aerospace sector, ensuring that the United States remains a leader in space exploration for decades to come. As this narrative unfolds, the implications for workforce, local economies, and international partnerships will be crucial to monitor, ensuring a balanced approach to the future of space exploration.